Welcome back. Now we'll explain end-to-end procurement process because before starting the configurations, you must be knowing like what exactly we are going to configure, right? If you talk about procurement process, it's pretty common. I know some of you or most of you might be having idea. So if you feel that yes, you know this already, or wherever, whichever person you feel that yes, you know, if you want, you can skip that and you can proceed further. Now, so here, if you talk about end-to-end procurement process, guys, and the same thing I'll explain practically also so that you guys will be having perfect idea. So look at here, procurement process. When we have to, let's suppose Tata Motor or Tata Steel, right? So these are the manufacturing organizations. So if the company has to manufacture the end product, of course they have to procure the raw material in order to manufacture the finished item, right? They need the raw materials. So they have to purchase it, they have to procure it, isn't it? Now, so what is the procurement process? So look at here, guys. Now, here all the steps are specified. First of all, determination of requirement, right? What is this, what happened here in determination of requirement, source determinations, multiple steps are there. This one also briefly I'll explain, guys. Okay, and then we'll proceed further and practically also I'll show you. So here, first of all, determination of requirement, then source determinations, right? And vendor selection. Determination means, of course, like from where to procure this, isn't it? Vendor selections, then PO processing, PO monitoring, goods receipt, invoice verifications, and payment processing. Total is 8 steps are there, right? What is the meaning of these all steps, guys? Here I have simply specified. Look at here. Procurement process, it is also called P2P process. Procure to pay. If we have to purchase something, of course, we have to pay also, right? If you have purchased something from, let's suppose a shop, we have to make the payment. Now here, within the organizations, the payments are not, we are not going to make the payment immediately. When you talk about organizations to organizations, right? So if organizations to organizations, any kind of sales or purchase are taking place, that is happening on credit basis. So procurement is made today, but the payment will be made after 30 days, after 45 days, right? Based on the payment terms. Now, look at here. SAP procurement process is required when we need to purchase material from a vendor for our company. Simple, that's what I explained, right? This process include all business tasks starting from purchase requisitions, right? And finishing with the vendor payment. Purchase requisitions, what is this? I'm going to explain, no need to worry. Okay. So in SAP, following steps are included in P2P cycle. Okay. Now these are the steps that is already here. Look at here. This cycle is there. This cycle I'm going to explain here. Determination of requirement. The very first activity is determination of requirement. So look at here. This is starting point of procurement process, right? In MM, it involves identifying what materials are required, in what quantity, and when they are needed. Of course, guys, determination of requirement means what exactly we need, which material we need, right? In what quantity we need. Let's suppose a particular material is there and only 20 quantities are there in the stock, isn't it? So how much quantity do we need to order so that a smooth, manufacturing, smoothly the manufacturing activity, manufacturing process will not hamper, right? So first of all, determination of requirement. So here people are going to determine that which materials are, like the stock is having like shortfall in the stock of that particular material, right? For example, look at here, I've got the example also. Production department realized that they need 100 unit of raw materials to continue manufacturing. The requirement is communicated to the purchasing department through the purchase requisitions, right? Now, see how to communicate. Let's suppose somebody is responsible to check these all things for determinations. Requirement determinations may check like the, let's suppose, which materials are falling short in terms of the quantity and all. Now, for that also in SAP we are having, guys, MRP is there, with material requirement planning is there from PP side. Okay, I won't go in those details. Here, very basic explanations I'm giving. Of course, practically we have to see all these things. Practically, I'll explain in details. Configurations part, testing part, everything will be explained. Okay. So no need to worry right now. If you have little bit confusion or any confusion, guys, that is going to be clarified in upcoming session. Okay. So no need to worry. Now, so here I have quoted this example here that 100 units of raw material, let's suppose steel sheet is needed. Okay. So the responsible person, what is happening is going to communicate this to the purchase department. How? We cannot like tell somebody verbally that, hey, we need this much material or so and so material, right? So here, how we are going to communicate? So a purchase requisitions in SAP will be created. Okay. This purchase requisition, it is an internal document, guys. Okay. Don't confuse with purchase order. Don't, mix this purchase requisition with purchase order. Purchase requisition is internal document where we have raised the requirement to the purchase department or whoever higher level, authority is there, right? So a purchase requisition will be created that this material is needed, this much quantity is needed. These all things will be specified where in a purchase requisitions. Let's suppose a requisition is created, right? It means the requirement determination is done. Now what next? Source determinations. It is the process of finding the vendors from where to procure. We have to buy it from somewhere, right? So it is the process of finding the possible vendors or source of supply for a required material. So for that we have a process. Now let's suppose, so if we have 10 vendors, let's suppose 10 vendors are there supplying the same material. So which vendor we have to finalize, guys? So in that case we can request for quotations from those people. That's the reason here I have written RFQ. We can request for quotations from vendor, right? And once we receive the quotations can be, we can match the quotations, and then this is system itself is having this, what is a functionality. We can match the quotations, and whatever the best quotation is there, that is going to be selected by system, right? So your source determination is exactly from where we have to buy. Okay. Now, what next? The next one is vendor selections. So here, the system simplify the selection of vendor by making the price comparison between various quotations. I told you guys that let's suppose we have multiple vendors. So we have requested quotations from every vendor. Now what is happening, guys? SAP system simplify the selections of vendor by making price comparison between vendors quotations. Everybody are going to quote their prices, right? System will compare the prices. In SAP, you can record these quotations and compare compare them automatically to identify the most economical and suitable vendor. Okay, that can be done with the help of SAP itself. Okay, this step is called quotation comparison or price comparison. Okay, so vendor selections, pretty simple steps, guys. Now, then let's suppose we have selected a particular vendor, that from this vendor we have to procure, we have to purchase the material. So how vendor will come to know? We have to notify, we have to inform the vendor. So guys, how to notify the vendor? Of course, we have to place the order. So look at here, a purchase order processing. In the sense, PO processing means PO will be created. A purchase order is, look at here, a formal request to a vendor to supply the goods or services at the condition stated in the purchase order. The conditions means, first of all, which material do we need? Right? That is the first questions. How much quantity do we need? Right? Let's suppose Tata Motor is having multiple plants. So for which plant we are raising this order? In a plant also, if we have multiple storage area, storage locations, so that also can be specified. What is our expected delivery date? So these all things we have to specify, right? Where? In this purchase order, right? This is how we are going to place the order with the vendor. And then let's suppose PO is created, PO is already sent to the vendor. Now what next? Purchase order monitoring. So even like let's suppose from management somebody want to see the status that this purchase order is created, it is sent to the vendor. What is the status? Have we received the goods till now? Right? So if we receive the goods, let's suppose there'll be here, look at here, we have options. to post this goods receipt into SAP system. Okay. So now, so here goods receipt. Now here system compare the goods receipt quantity with the purchase order quantity. Anyway, we have raised, like, let's suppose this PO for 10 quantity and we have received the 10 quantity. So goods receipt will be posted into SAP system because inventory will be increased, right? Stock quantity, whatever stock quantity is there, that is going to increase. So goods receipt will be posted. The moment we post the goods receipt, guys, it will be updated here on purchase order, right? So if somebody monitor the PO and they found that goods receipt is already updated in PO. So what does it mean? People or the person who is monitoring will come to know that yes, PO is raised, vendor has supplied the goods, but the invoice we have not received yet because only goods receipt is updated on PO, right? So first of all, we have received the goods from vendor, and after that, even vendor will send the invoice also. So look at here, invoice verifications also. This invoice verifications or invoice receipt, it is also called invoice receipt. That also will be posted here into SAP system. And finally, what will happen, guys? Once the invoice is posted, then here finally we are going to make the payment to vendor. This is the last step. Okay. So this is what is happening here. If you talk about end-to-end procurement process, so this is what exactly the end-to-end procurement process. These all steps I have explained. Okay. I'll show this practically also, not all the steps, guys, right? Because here, if you talk about requirement determinations, right? For that, what is happening? We have to create the, purchase requisitions. But if you talk about source determination and vendor selections, so if we have a fixed vendor, if the vendor is already fixed that, okay, this material we have to procure from the so and so vendor itself, then these two steps are not required. Why to invite quotations from a vendor? Because vendor is already fixed and a single vendor itself is there. If we have to select, let's suppose, one vendor among many, in that case, we can request for quotations, that everybody send the quotations and we will finalize, we will check the prices and then we'll decide, like, okay, we have to place the order with so and so vendor, right? So we'll practically also, I'll show these things so that you guys will be having idea, and then I'll proceed further with the configurations. Okay, so that your understanding will be right, because I have seen, like, multiple configurations related tutorials are available, videos are available at different platform. Mostly people are getting confused, right? So I'll make it simple, no need to worry. I'll show this entire process practically, and then we'll start the configuration so that you guys will be having perfect understanding.